segment paid for by Davis & Freese Realtors.
It's time for Happy Tappe Home Tips
I'm so happy about this.
with Luke Tappe of Davis & Freese Realtors
I'm so happy.
on 97.9 Kick FM.
That's right. We bring in the real estate expert of the Tri-States, our guy Luke Tappe, on this May 13th. Morning, Luke.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, we bring you on here today, and you were just telling us off the air, and it's something you want to talk about on the air today.
Yeah.
The importance of an experienced realtor who is detail-oriented, because you have a story that it truly is kind of a nightmare horror story that happened to you because of another error from another real estate agent that you luckily were able to save your client from falling into a real kind of a nightmarish situation.
100%. I just cannot stress enough the importance of using an experienced real estate agent, someone who is just, like you said, Mark, detail oriented, someone who's going to comb through that contract with a just fine comb. Yeah, I mean, just a fine-tooth comb. And, absolutely. So earlier this month, I received a purchase contract from a new agent from another office on one of my listings. I had the sellers. It was for a house that was sitting on just over 6 acres of land. This particular home had 2 different parcel numbers. What that means is the acreage was split up from the house, and people do that for numerous reasons, tax reasons and things like that. But it was, clearly noted in the public remarks on the listing sheet that it had 2 different parcels. I instantly noticed when I got the contract that it only had 1 parcel number listed, meaning she could have potentially caused major problems, not only with legality issues for her client, but also with title work issues, lender issues. There's just so many things out there that down the line, this could have, derailed this transaction. Thankfully, when I was combing through the contract when it came in, I noticed it right away. Being the just kind of mentor that I am, I kind of reached out, allowed her to correct it, and she was, thank you so much.
Yeah, and resubmit it offer.
Yeah. I mean, we needed to get that fixed so it doesn't, cause problems. But we all make mistakes, and I was new at one time as well, and so I understand that. But these are costly mistakes. These are mistakes that cannot be made in a real estate transaction. I mean, they just cannot happen.
Well, what I find so interesting about this story too is you're not sitting here going, trying to downplay necessarily that realtor. What you're saying is, hey, you want to sell your home with me too, because I'm going to make sure. If you were just on the fly and like, oh yeah, sure, I'm sure it's fine. That person, I'm sure, wrote it up well. Just sign it. All of a sudden, that makes you look bad because you're the person who's in charge of making sure all the ducks in a row.
Yes, and that's one thing with Davis & Freese. Me being the owner and managing broker, I comb through every contract that comes into our office. All of my agents, they know. I mean, I'm reaching out as soon as hey, you guys didn't have initials on page 6, or you didn't, I'm always reaching out to my agents. They might get annoyed with me, but it just is what it is. And another thing on that contract, and another reason why you want to work with an experienced agent, is this particular agent, and there's no fault at this part, but she allowed 3+ days for a response back from the sellers. So she put on her contract, hey, we'd like a response in 3.5 days. In this fast-paced market, allowing that much time for a response back from a seller, could have allowed other offers to sneak in ahead of this one. It could have potentially lost her client the home. I just think this is why it's just imperative that you work with an experienced agent that lives and breathes real estate in every way, and really knows the art of a real estate contract and how to write that. There's nothing wrong with allowing 3+ days. But any agent that does a lot of business in this town and everywhere around America right now can tell you we put fast response times. 24 hours maybe maximum at times. And if the seller's not comfortable with that, they'll let us know. They'll come back and say, hey, we know you put 24 hours, but we just can't do it in that quick of time, et cetera. So, I always say don't be a buyer or a seller who loses out. And working with an experienced agent, different. But when you work with myself or any one of my agents, you can guarantee you're getting the expertise and that experience.
Yeah. And that's too, this is just a prime example, Luke, of if you are trying to sell your home on your own or buying a home without a realtor.
Good
like
luck.
if this one had gone through without an experienced realtor, like you said, it could have been like a legal nightmare.
Yeah, this could have been a very, very costly mistake. I mean, because honestly, that one parcel only had the house on it, so they were only getting the house with about an acre, and that other 5 acres of land.
Not in the transaction.
It wasn't in the transaction.
Yeah.
Luke,
So
for anyone out there listening, Illinois, Missouri, either side of the river, and they want to start this conversation with you or any of one of your team at Davis and Freeze, buying, selling, or even just that first walkthrough. Hey, can you come in and check out the house? Where can they find you?
We would love to give you guys that, like I said, expertise and experience that you deserve. Give us a call, 217-223-9700. Visit us online at davisandfreeze.com.
Luke, we appreciate the time as always, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you guys so much.